up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity. Happy Monday. I hope today was a great day. In the tri-state area, the weather was gorgeous. It was like damn near almost 80 degrees, and I'm a summer baby, and so that was everything and more for me. And I think tomorrow is going to be even warmer. So thank God spring is starting to act like it's transitioning into summer, right? Anyway, I wanted to do a vlog about a lesson that I actually learned. I had pretty much, whether it was on Candid Talk with Chanel or on the regular blog section of the website, I had shared my experience being in a training about 2 weeks ago. And I think then I was talking about how there was another person in the training who kind of was coming for me, and it was like unsolicited. And so this training was for me to be a trainer in a particular curriculum. And I normally training is my strength, if I'm being completely honest. A big part of my job, as I always say, is to train foster parents. And so training is something that comes naturally to me. Public speaking is something that comes naturally to me. And I kind of found that this particular training was heavy, and that it was definitely going to be more of a challenge than probably other trainer of training trainings sorry, that I've ever been a part of. And so I knew that I had to like study, but in the midst of this training, I'm doing my normal day-to-day job. I'm having to commute from where I live upstate to like New York City and Manhattan, like on William Street. There's a lot going on. And so when I presented, because all of us had our assigned presentations to do, the subject matter was selected for each person. And it was, we all had to present in front of one another, which could also be a bit of a nerve-wracking thing when you are presenting or doing what they call teachbacks in front of your own peers, colleagues, people who do what you do, right? Different agencies, different companies, we're all in one room doing this together. And so we each were able to give feedback on one another's presentations. And I think I might have also said this on the website a couple of weeks ago, where I felt like a lot of the feedback, I got some amazing feedback, but then I also got some constructive feedback. And I was really confused because I know training is something that is natural, comes naturally to me. And I realized that I said, you know what, Chanel, maybe you just didn't knock this one out the park this time. You can't always be on top of your game, right? There are some times where you have to just say, you know what, I see where I need to improve, and I'm just gonna have to work harder and do better, right? And so, but I'm the type of person where I'll be supportive of everyone else when they present, and try to always give positive feedback with regards to everyone's teachbacks. We all also had to write down any constructive feedback we might have had. For me, I prefer to write down the constructive feedback most of the time, as opposed to saying it before the group. To me, there's something when you're getting it from your peers and you don't know the motivation behind why people are saying what they're saying. Sometimes that can actually get in the way of the message, right? And so for me, I prefer to just write my constructive feedback down that I knew they were gonna get, as opposed to expressing it before the group. Now, of course, when it came to me, people weren't like, oh, we're just gonna write it down. They were like, oh, we're gonna let her know, right? And so, of course, a lot of the feedback, I said, okay, that's true. I could have used the flip chart a little bit differently. I could have maybe been tighter with this. But some of the feedback that I'd gotten, I was confused about, because when I saw all of my fellow peers' presentations, when they went like a day after me, some people, the ones that had a lot of the constructive feedback for me, when I actually saw them in their presentations, no shade, I mean this the best that I can, they didn't do that well. And so I'm like, wow, they were like really telling me what I needed to work on, but the basics of training, some of them didn't really do well, right? So at that point I said, okay, Lord, maybe some of this was also mixed in with other stuff, or maybe they just took the exercise to heart, not to heart, but took it seriously and literally and said, no, if we found that there was something that anyone could work on, we're going to let them know. And so what I found super interesting, in my mind, I said, Chanel, you didn't bomb it, but you didn't ace it. you were in the middle somewhere, so you know what you would need to brush up on, right? Take in a lot of the constructive feedback and work hard so that when you do this training for your agency, you are doing it in an amazing way. So fast forward to the last day of training. And it's the last moment. I went to use the restroom because, I had a long commute from Manhattan to where I live. And I went back into the training room to get my code and get my things. And the trainer pulls me aside because the trainer, one thing I forgot to add is that the trainer said that she was going to give us her feedback individually. She wasn't going to express it before the group. So she said, Chanel. And she came to me. I said, yes. I said, thank you so much for the training. It was so enlightening. I learned a lot. I loved your approach. Thank you so much. And she said, you did an awesome job in your teach back. I couldn't say anything because, not everybody did so well. And, I'm saving everyone's feedback for when I email them one-on-one, but I wanted to let you know that you did an awesome job. And when I told y'all, I was so surprised. I really thought that, like I said, not that I bombed it, but I didn't think that I did that well, based off of the feedback that I had gotten from my colleagues. And I said, well, maybe I really didn't do that well. So now you're going to have to work on this. And, not that I have a problem with working on things and getting better. That's always my goal in life, to grow and to get better, right? And so when she said what she said to me 2 minutes before I left to go home, I said, Lord, wow, you knew I kind of was internally confused, perplexed, struggling, okay, Chanel, you're just gonna have to do better. You're gonna really have to prepare in a whole different kind of way with a whole different kind of process before you are able to train at your job, right? Because in my mind, the trainer's feedback for me is gonna be that I probably may need to co-lead or shadow someone before I do it. And I said, I didn't see this coming, Lord. This is very interesting. But I think what the message for me was in all of this is, Chanel, people will always have their perspectives, because I'm big on having a perspective. Their opinions, I'm big on having an opinion, right? However, if you felt in your heart that for some reason things just didn't make sense, that was for a reason. And I always talk about my guttural instincts and insight and things of that nature, right? And so for whatever reasons, I was struggling the past week with that whole situation and really feeling wow, training, I thought that's one of the things I'm pretty strong in, but Chanel, you got to get this thing together, right? Who would have thought that the trainer was like, no, you did a great job, Why did she feel the need to tell me that? I don't know. But for whatever reasons, God allowed it. And it definitely put things in perspective for me, where it's Chanel, if you feel in your heart of hearts that you did a pretty decent or good job, or if you feel that you're on the right track for whatever it is you're trying to do or build for yourself, if you feel an unsettling feeling with this particular individual, even when everybody's telling you you're crazy, you're not. Don't second guess yourself to the point where you even start to doubt yourself, right? It's almost as if I was doubting myself. Now, let's not get anything misconstrued or twisted. I do not think that I am the best trainer out here. I still have a lot to learn, even in training. But I do know that it is a natural area of talent that I have. The ability to publicly speak before a group of people, as well as the ability to teach. I know that those are areas of strengths that I have. And so that's why I think I was really confused with a lot of the feedback my colleagues or my peers were giving me, because I'm but this does feel so strange, It almost felt like it was coming from a place of I don't know. And I was kind of getting cool with some of the people in this training. When you're kind of forced to be in a training for several hours, whole work days with people, you kind of start to connect in some way, right? And so there were, a few, I'm wow, we were connecting, okay. But you never know what people feel. I always say, I was saying this to my husband the other night, I don't know what it is about me and what comes with me, but people who struggle with confidence and security and healthy self-esteem, when I come along, when I enter the room, when I'm in a training with you for whatever reasons, it doesn't make them feel comfortable. And it's not that I think that I'm the nicest person I know. I say this not in like an arrogant way, but I'm a very nice person. It's funny. Over the weekend, I told you I was at a funeral upstate, and a young lady who I never met, but she was a part of the group. Her and I were like the only women kind of in the mix. And she said to me, "You are so nice. Oh my goodness, thank you for being so nice to me." And I said, "No problem." And to me, I said, wow, this woman doesn't know me from Eve, Adam, whoever, right? And she was able to say that to me, and so I know that I'm a nice person, and I like to think that I give off positive energy and vibes. So when I come across people who struggle with being in my presence, or who almost treat me real funny, crazy, inconsistently, 9 out of 10 times it's because whatever my confidence is that I have within myself it makes them feel uncomfortable. And that perhaps is what could have happened in that training that I was in. I don't know. That it was just so strange, These are people that we were just laughing and chopping it up. Not that I know them, not that we're friends, but how do we so quickly change from that to a totally different energy, And that just encouraged my heart so much when the trainer herself was like, "You did an amazing job." And I don't know, like I said, I don't know why she felt the need to tell me that, but I took that as from God, from the Lord, like, "Chanel, rest assured, rest easy. She's still going to give you constructive feedback regarding what you can improve upon, but you heard it from the trainer herself that you did a great job, and that should settle any feelings you feel." So I say this whole long story to say this. The message is this. Go, if things don't seem to make sense to you, if things would just seem to be unsettled in your spirit and you just don't know why, like, don't just take that for nothing. That actually could really mean something. And even if everybody thinks you're crazy, you're bugging out, you're being narcissistic, whatever they want to label it as, don't adopt other people's theories so quickly when it comes to that. It's okay to say, whoa, this is strange. This is not making sense. Like, why is this person kind of responding or treating me this way? Or why is the energy feeling different? What happened? You know what I'm saying? Don't deny your guttural instincts, folks. Us Christians always call it the Holy Spirit. Don't deny those feelings that you feel deep down from within. If things don't seem right or they're not making sense, guess what? It's not right and it's not sensible. You're feeling that way for a reason. And one thing that my mom definitely has taught me, as I always say, she's a very wise woman, is that Chanel, as you're growing, you're becoming wiser, your insight is getting stronger, and go with that. She said, "I've had years of people telling me I was crazy and that what I was saying didn't make sense, and every time I felt something, that was what it was. It played out the way I felt it would, and don't go against that. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain level of wisdom and insight, discernment that you have. Go with it." And that's what I do, y'all. I go with it at my job. If I feel like people shouldn't be foster parents for whatever reasons, in my personal life,